Raptors reporter Josh Lewenberg with more on this Nick Nurse story that sort of flew under the radar a bit on Thursday with MLB's opening day, plus the Raptors were traveling, but we've now heard his reaction to it. Wow, quite the bombshell. How do you see this all playing out, Josh?
Well, what I've heard is that Nick Nurse is looking for a long-term commitment from the Raptors. He has just one more year on his contract after this season, and my sense is that he has no intention of going into next season as a lame duck coach, and I think his comments today reflect that as well. I'm not sure that the Raptors would be comfortable with that situation either, which means that they'll probably have to make a decision on his future this summer by either extending him or letting him go. And based on the conversations that I've had with folks recently, I could see it going either way, to be honest. I mean, on one hand, Nurse and the Raptors have experienced a lot of success together. Nurse's resume speaks for itself, and that's why if he were to be made available, he wouldn't be available for very long. He'd be highly coveted around the league, but the Raptors, as we know, have fallen well short of expectations this year, and when that happens, everyone's got to wear it, including, but not limited to, the coaching staff.
Right.
So once it's all said and done and the dust settles, Masai Ujiri and company, they're going to have to determine, well, what's the best way forward and whether the future includes Nick Nurse. It's part of what's going to be a pretty busy and eventful summer, I think, for the Raptors.
Yeah, a lot of big decisions to make for management. We don't typically hear such a candid response, though, to a rumor like this. Are you kind of surprised that he didn't just come out and shoot it down?
I am, yeah. I mean, we talked about all of the decisions that the Raptors have to make this summer. It's because there are a bunch of guys in this organization that are playing for contracts. Normally, with something like that, we think about players. Van Vliet, Trent, Pirtle, they're going to be free agents. Pascal Siakam is playing for an extension. But for guys like that, whenever it's come up, they've quickly poured cold water on it and said, well, we'll deal with the future in the future.
Right.
Nurse had an opportunity to do that today, and he did it. We know that the Raptors are fighting for positioning in the play-in tournament, and they have designs on fighting their way through it and into the playoffs and potentially making noise in the playoffs and ultimately salvaging what has been a very disappointing season. So the last thing they need right now is a distraction, and I think the uncertain future of their head coach qualifies as a distraction.
Well, when you win a title, it certainly comes with some leverage. Whether he's coaching the Raptors or not in the future, Nurse, well, he'll always have that legend status in Toronto. Thanks for this, Josh.